Hi, everyone. Welcome to Scare. Thank you for joining us today for our second wintertime training of 2025. I'm Taylor. I'm the Youth Programs Coordinator here at Scare, and today's workshop is focused on gratitude through giving. So because it's, this time of year, November, gratitude is such a big theme. And so we're just going to focus on things like the importance of gratitude and just some activities for practicing gratitude today. So, for the importance of gratitude, one thing is that practicing gratitude actually helps us recognize the positive things in our life, especially when things are really rough, feels like the world is crumbling. It can be really hard to find the positive, but when we start to see some of the good things that there are, whether it's the people that are around or things that you still have, it can help us to recognize that there are still some good things despite the challenges. Gratitude also helps us not take small things for granted, especially things that we're used to. So it could be the clothing that we have, or the food that we eat, or the way that we're able to get from point A to point B safely. So practicing gratitude for some of the things that we might not recognize on a daily basis that we have helps us to not take it for granted as well. It also helps us develop a deeper appreciation for the world around us. We might be able to see more beauty in the world around us, or be grateful for some of the interactions that we have with the people around us, and just overall get a deeper appreciation for it. Gratitude also, when we give gratitude to others, it also helps to build a stronger relationship with them, stronger connections, and a stronger appreciation for them. And when we give it to them too, it really strengthens the bond between the people around us when we're showing them gratitude. And lastly, when we practice gratitude, over time we can really develop more resilience during the challenging times. And this might be related to the first point, where if we're practicing gratitude, even during the challenging times, we're able to feel like we can endure it because there are still certain things to be grateful for. So we can build that resilience during those times. So now to some of the fun stuff. Just a little bit on the science of gratitude, because even just practicing gratitude, saying what we're thankful for, what we're grateful for, can actually have a huge impact on our body. So when we practice gratitude, it can actually rewire our brain. So the more that we practice it, the more likely we are to lean towards gratitude in the future. There's little connections that are happening in our brain that start to, when they get fired more during gratitude, it starts to become more of a pattern. So the more that we practice gratitude, the more we are more likely to lean towards gratitude. Also, when we are feeling grateful, our bodies will actually create feel good chemicals in our brain that do things like improve our mood, and it rewards us for the gratitude. So then we want to be grateful more often. So maybe you've heard of things like dopamine and serotonin. It's the feel good chemicals in our body that increase happiness. And so when you're feeling grateful, more of those chemicals are actually released. Lastly, gratitude can actually reduce our stress hormones like cortisol. So, cortisol is released when we're really stressed for a long time, and it can make us feel more anxious. It can give us trouble sleeping, have like other impacts on our body. So, when we practice gratitude, it can actually reduce those hormones. So, it'll reduce some of the anxieties in our body and lower our stress. And so, with all of that, here are some of the effects that gratitude has, keeping the science behind it in mind, right? So, gratitude actually improves, in general, studies have shown a wide variety of forms of well being. So, there's kind of like this blanket thing where it actually impacts a lot of different parts of our well being in our life. So, some of the things that it might do is it increases overall life satisfaction, decreases negative emotions, increases happiness, and the ability to provide emotional support for others, and it decreases worrying. Again, gratitude can also lessen our anxiety and depression, especially if we're practicing it often. And then because it's lowering our stress overall, it starts to have an impact on improving our heart health and our immune system, since stress often destroys those things. Stress can really have an impact on our heart health and our immune system. So when we start to lower our stress through things like gratitude, we start to see the benefits. And then practicing gratitude can improve the relationships with the people around you. When you start to express your gratitude towards them, and then they feel that you're grateful for them and for the things that they do, it can boost the positivity between you guys and strengthen the relationship. So now on to giving gratitude. So we're going to go over some things for just like gratitude in general, but also like how to give gratitude to others. So giving gratitude to others can be so much more than just saying thank you. I know it's a habit for us to say thank you and it's always appreciated, but there are other things we can do to show gratitude. So if we want to show someone that we're thankful for them, we can do things like just some kind actions for them. Maybe there's an errand that you can help them run, or maybe they're really busy and need a little help cleaning or, um, you know, picking up their kids, or whatever it might be. Small things that actually make a big difference to them. You can also show gratitude through things like a small gift. Maybe you it doesn't have to be buying something. Maybe you bake some goodies, you bake some brownies. Give that to them as a thank you, or just write out a little card just to show that you're grateful for them. Those things go a long way. And besides those things too, even just giving them patience, maybe when they're going through things, can be a way to give gratitude, or just giving them your time, spending quality time with people. And, if they need you for things, just being there for them can really be a big way to show that you're grateful for them and not taking them for granted. And if you are with them, try to be present, listening to them, talking with them, and just being in the moment, giving them your full attention. And those things, again, instead of just saying thank you, those things can also show that you're not taking them for granted and kind of expressing gratitude towards them. With that being said, saying thank you also is something that is great, right? We like to hear it. And also, again, it feels good to the other people because they know that what they're doing is not being taken for granted or that it is being appreciated and that they're making a difference. So even though we might say thanks or thank you often, try to pause and point out exactly what it is that you're thankful for. So if someone helps you carry something to your car, instead of just saying thank you, be more specific. Say something like, thank you so much for helping me carry these to the car. It helped a lot. Like, I really appreciate it. Or if there's just something that you are grateful for, maybe you have a great conversation with them, tell them. Send them a text or just tell them out loud. Like, thank you so much for spending this time with me. It really means a lot to me and makes me really excited about the day. So just be specific in your gratitude so people know exactly what it is that you're grateful for. And then the gratitude becomes a little more meaningful too, because you're taking the extra step to be specific in your gratitude. So here's an exercise for practicing gratitude. It's called the gratitude trail. And basically, it's a way of tracing the trail of people and things that helped along the way. So overall, just think about how many people have supported us and brought us to where we are now, right? It didn't just start with like one person or one thing. It's like, okay, there was one person and then there was the person before that and before that. And it doesn't even have to be with what we ourselves are going through. It might be just something that we have, right? So if I'm thinking, well, I'm grateful for the fruits and veggies that I have that nourish my body, I can create a gratitude trail based off of everything that helped those fruits and veggies get to me. So I'm grateful for the people at the grocery store that helped me get those veggies, and then the people who transported the produce to the grocery store. And then I acknowledge that there were also people that harvested the produce, and then the people that helped it to grow. Maybe even things like the bees that pollinated the crops to help it thrive. Things like the water, the soil, and the sun that gave these plants life. And all of that just came together basically for the food that nourishes my body today. So being grateful for all the things along the way and acknowledging that it's a whole network of people and things um, that bring us to where we are at the moment. Another thing to keep in mind too is trying to practice gratitude in challenges. And this is really hard because when we are going through difficult times, it can be so much harder to find the gratitude. And I want to make it clear too that like if you're going through a hard time, like you don't need to be grateful for the difficulty, but trying to find things to be grateful for around those challenges, right? So something personal for me, right? I've experienced a lot of loss this year. And same thing, I'm not grateful for the loss, but during all of that, I'm so grateful for the time that I've got to spend with my loved ones that I lost, and the time leading up to it. And also just the way my family came together after loss. So you don't need to be grateful for the challenging times, but for the support that you got to experience during the challenging times. And so hopefully there's um, things that you can find in the difficult times and the challenges to be grateful for. And again, the more we practice it, the more we'll be able to see those little things that really come together, even when we're experiencing a lot of difficulty. So now that we've gone over some of the little activities for gratitude, and there's going to be more, as I said earlier, Alex, one of our counseling interns here at Scare, will be going a little more in depth with some gratitude activities and what gratitude is. But I also wanted to give some questions to reflect. Many of these came from Alex herself, um, but just questions to reflect on not only like how gratitude shapes your life, but how it just has impacted you. So, how does it feel when someone gives you gratitude? Does it feel good? Do you feel a little uncomfortable with it sometimes? Like, do you feel like it encourages you to do more? How did giving to someone help you feel more connected? And it can be connected to them, connected to yourself, connected to the world. What's a small act of giving that someone has done that made a big difference to you? And that's one that I like to think about because sometimes I'll get caught in thinking like, okay, like if I don't do something for someone, I may think, okay, it's really small. They won't even notice. But then I think about the times where someone did a small act of giving to me and it just felt like the world. Like it felt like there was just so much love in that little act that it really made a huge difference to me and they might not even know it. Another thought to ponder is what would healthy giving look like for you, right? So there might be some questions on, boundaries and making sure that you're not giving everything that you have, but in a way that is healthy for you and is reasonable and sustainable for you. And then just a few more. What helps you maintain boundaries so giving doesn't lead to burnout? Because again, when we're trying to give to the people around us, um, if we're doing it a little too much, right, we are going to like become burnt out. It's going to be a lot harder for us to give when we just drain ourselves. How do you show gratitude through actions rather than words? And it could be different for everyone how they do that. And lastly, think of a time you gave something that didn't cost money. So it could be giving your time, giving some kindness, or giving some patience. What impact did it have on you? Right? Gratitude is interesting how it works because it really is like a two-way thing. So even when you're giving gratitude for someone, it can still feel really good for you and that other person. So just think about the impact that those things have on you. And I'm going to be wrapping up my portion pretty soon, but I just wanted to add in a couple pieces of poems in here that I actually really enjoyed, especially when we're talking about just appreciating the little things and being grateful for the little things that we experience that we might not always find, like recognize, I guess, throughout the day. So this isn't the whole poem. This is just like a couple chunks that I took from it, but this is by Robert Siegel from his song, A Song of Praises. So for the smell of coffee, so basically he's expressing what he's grateful for, right? So for the smell of coffee rising up the stairs, announcing paradise. For the glass of golden juice in which light is condensed, the grapefruit's sweet flesh. For the eggs like two peaks over which the sun rises, and the jam for which the strawberries of summer have saved themselves. And I really like this too, because besides just being grateful for coffee or um, you know, orange juice and eggs and strawberries. There's also this beauty that he describes as that he describes in each of the moments, right? So coffee is, announcing paradise, or this glass of golden juice in which the light is condensed, right? It's almost like a little cup of sunshine. Um, and I really love that. There's beauty that's also found in gratitude. And then just one more, and then I'll be wrapping up my portion. But here's another piece of a poem, just part of it. And this one is by Jane Hirschfield from her poem, How Rarely I Have Stopped to Thank the Steady Effort. And so it's kind of a similar thing where it's like expressing gratitude for the things that still are there and when it seems like nothing's happening. So describes a person speaking pauses, lets in a little silence portion with the words. It is like an hour, any hour, this one. Something happens, much does not. Or as always, everything happens. The standing walls keep standing with their whole attention. A noisy crow call lowers and lifts its branch. The crow scent enters the leaves, enters the bark, like stirred in honey gone into the tea. How rarely I have stopped to thank the steady effort of the world to stay the world. So again, she's just kind of giving this gratitude in a moment that feels like nothing's happening, right? So she kind of describes it as like someone is speaking, and then in that like silence where it seems like nothing's really going on, even though it's not really in that moment. She's thinking the walls were still supporting the building, standing up. She is finding the beauty in just the outside, right? There's a crow that's kind of like on a branch going up and down, and it's becoming part of the tree. And so, even in those things that we might not see in that immediate moment, there's still so much happening in the world that continues to keep life going. And on that note, again, there is going to be a little portion from Alex just to keep going with gratitude and gratitude exercises. I did want to say thank you for joining the training, and remember to please complete the survey in the link in the description box below. And that's going to be how you get your work participation hours. So please contact your TANF caseworker for approval to receive work participation hours. And I hope you enjoy this next session by Alex. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alex. I'm one of the counseling interns here at CARE. Today we're doing a gratitude through giving workshop. So I wanted to start off with asking everyone what one small thing you're grateful for today that you might normally overlook, or something that might pass you by, or something you might not think about. What do you think?
Just waking up in the morning, I'm grateful for another day. I'm grateful for warmth and comfort, even as the weather gets chillier. I'm grateful for Taylor. Oh, me too. She's amazing and she's exploring.
Anybody else? Grateful for the prayer team. Anybody else?
And I'm grateful for the family life.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. I'm gonna say coffee because I think it's colder. Yeah, if it's like warm coffee for the cold coffee for the warm. Yeah. So the reason that gratitude matters is in a lot of different ways that we practice gratitude. We can practice it by gratitude journaling. A lot of research shows that writing it itself, like documenting your thoughts, shifts our focus to more positive moments. Our brains are wired to look for things that are occupying our thoughts. So if we're thinking about something grateful or something like pleasant, like our brain is been wired to like look for similar things in our environment. Kind of the reverse is true too. So journaling helps kind of like control our thoughts in like a writing centered way and shifts like what we're thinking about in a more grateful way. Sharing things is a big reason that also matters. So expressing appreciation and gratitude builds stronger connection with others in our community. It also helps others center what they're grateful for. So by sharing things or what we're grateful for, like it helps us start to like think about what we're grateful for. This also looks through daily reflection, so thinking about our progress and like what we're grateful for helps reduce our stress and actually like boost our self-belief and self-confidence. Just like reflecting on like things that we're grateful for. I've also learned that thinking of like different things we're grateful for every day also helps because it helps like build our brain muscle. I'm trying to like challenge ourselves to like new things that we're grateful for instead of like things we might just like think of on a daily basis. And this mindful awareness, just focusing on gratitude encourages calming of the body. It helps lower anxiety, helps lower depression, and just like overall well-being. And it's also more this like resilient mindset. Gratitude also supports like better coping with life challenges. We know that like life challenges are going to happen no matter what. But gratitude helps kind of like buffer and like help support like a lot of like the negative effects that might happen from life challenges. So some tools that we often use to practice like gratitude through giving, daily affirmations are a big one. This is a big trend on social media, but repeating positive truths that we believe about ourselves, a lot of like self-beliefs help strengthen our self-confidence and like this concept we have of ourselves. So daily affirmations don't have to be things that are like random. They can be things that like we want to believe about ourselves. It's like a good way of like developing daily affirmations, like what you're grateful for and like the person that you want to be versus like that you might see online. Gratitude lists are a powerful tool. So writing down this like reinforces like your progress and like your mind's way like centering like gratitude and positivity for overall well-being. And having these like visible reminders, so notes or like cards keep gratitude more visible. So while like we have like these daily affirmations and reminders, keeping them more visible on a bathroom mirror or like on your fridge, kind of helps like your brain like in the motion of gratitude. And again, like this more like shared practice. So saying thanks with somebody, like saying thanks to somebody, it could be a stranger, family, community. It helps create more of this like shared practice and community of gratitude. And the morning reset, so starting off your morning with either affirmations, gratitude, just like this moment of mindfulness helps kind of set the tone for the day and again sets your brain up for looking for things that it wants to be grateful for or like giving, like again, more of this community. So some of the tools that we often recommend are like lists, journaling, a gratitude jar. So this is a cool one where like you can write down things you're grateful for and put it in a jar. And at the end of the year, you can like read through the things that throughout the year you didn't remember that you were grateful for, and it could be like fun things too. Thank you letters is a really cool one. This is something I like to do too, where if I'm thinking of someone that I'm grateful for, I'll write them a letter and then give it to them like on their birthday or like in the holidays. Same with like notes and again like affirmations. These are some other exercises I found. Again, like the letter, journaling, gratitude rocks are really cool because they're also like very sensory. So like hold in your hand, but to like write or like paint things on them. You can like put it on your desk so it's like more like in view. Same with the gratitude walk. I like to do these with like colors. So like I'm doing a gratitude walk for like the color red. So like I'll purposely look out for things that are red that I'm like grateful for, like leaves or like apples or like a store that I really like. Same with the gratitude. Yeah, it's kind of hard sometimes to certain colors, like purple. And same with like a gratitude meditation, like being mindful and meditating on like visualizing things that you're grateful for that, you know, like upcoming or past, helps like center you and like lowers anxiety and calms the body while also like visualizing one's like gratefulness. So some tips for creating daily gratitude because it's hard in the economy and world, but repetition is a really big one. Like the brain is a muscle, so it's like repetition of like gratitude and mindfulness is very helpful. That's why a lot of research suggests doing it daily, like starting off in the morning or like at the end of the day, like okay, like what are 3 things I'm grateful for that were different from like yesterday? It helps get you in that routine. Implementation intention, so the idea that like why you want to do it, like what your values are. A lot of times like connecting what you do to like values work helps long term. So like I want to do gratitude because I want to be a better daughter for my family. Like that's something that like I'm implementing this with the intention of like overall well-being. And using tools and technology, there are a lot of apps for gratitude, like gratitude journals, reminders for like mindfulness, or like journaling, etc.